Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Market Insights with Linux, and welcome to this new video in which we're going to be covering Alphabet Incorporated, aka Google, and I'll be referring to it as Google. I think most people know it by Google, of course, but the legal structure is a little bit different, of course. But we're going to do a full update. I haven't covered this before on the channel. Still wanted to do that because I think some interesting things happened over the last 24 hours, of course. Mainly with earnings coming out, right? I mean, yesterday, past after market close, we got the EPS estimate and just in general some financial data, which I will be looking to my left sometimes. There's my other monitor where I have some data that I wanted to discuss because we got some other interesting data in the earnings call yesterday as well, which I have some thoughts on. But you can see they beat the EPS. It was a beating of about 5%, so that's decent. It's definitely not the highest, but for a $2.34 trillion dollar company, it's a lot. So what that has caused is that yesterday, or that pre-market right now is trading higher. Although I have to say, and we will take a look at the technicals here as well, outside of the fundamentals, but I have to say that we already broke out before that, right? In my opinion, the most important level for Google, both on the short term but also on the higher time frames, is this level right here at 184. That's not only a respected key level with a 0.618 FIB, but that's also the value area high, right? So that's kind of the top of the balance, right? Most of the price action since the 24th of April 2024 has been in this bubble right here, and we have now broken out of that bubble here. And now it's going to very much depend on fundamentals, of course. Everything depends on fundamentals, but also technicals, especially on the lower time frames, which we'll get to in a moment. If we're going to hold this breakout, and if we are going to be able to hold this breakout, which the last time we tried that was January 2025, back then we failed, partially caused by tariffs. But if we hold that breakout, we can actually get into an up-only rally again, which I think we have a realistic chance of doing that, just like the S&P 500 is doing at this point of time. But all right, so talking about that a little bit, in general, Google has been a little bit under scrutiny, I wouldn't say, but it's been under some bearish pressure, with some concerns regarding, increased competition, and that's all true, right? There's nothing wrong about that, and that has caused Alphabet to kind of lag behind, for example, Microsoft. But I still think it's a great company. And I think the data that we have seen over the course of since the earnings call yesterday is actually quite good. So Google Cloud, for example, surged 32% year on year to $13.6 billion in revenue. That's great. The revenue in general is up 14% year on year. Net income is up 19% year on year. And search and YouTube ads, which have been increased, or which have been improved, I should say, by AI, right? So I think Google is one of the companies that's making real good use of AI right now. But that rose 12% as well, and that was something, search and YouTube ads. That was something where people thought that AI would really, put a dent in that, right? Because and I've used it in that way too. You can use ChatGPT for search incredibly well, and it works, I would say, better. But we have seen so far that Google is doing very good with that, and personally, I really like Google's AI that comes with search as well. I use ChatGPT and that quite quite similarly, but also I'd say 50% of the time. So that's all great. And then one thing that I found interesting is that they announced yesterday that capital expenditures, so basically investments, would rise significantly by tens of billions of dollars. Investors were a little bit shook by that, but I think that's great. And I think that actually creates the opportunity to after the pullback, because you can see we left a major gap. I think we're going to find some resistance there, but after the pullback, I do think this is going to be a real breakout, right? So we already broke above balance right here, Monday the 14th of July. I think we are going to get into an uptrend. I think this data supports that. I think beating the earnings supports that. And I think the technicals support that, right? So a pullback, especially from this level right here, between around $200, is to be expected. Fill the gap to the downside, maybe spike down a little bit lower, but ultimately I do think we're heading for that level at $208. And I'll keep you updated on that, but I think we're going to have a good chance to rally up higher than that as well afterwards. But those are my thoughts for now. That's what I think you need to know. If you do have any if you do have any questions whatsoever, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to join our Telegram channel as well if you want to be updated on the financial markets. But for now, have a great day. Take care and bye.